So what's all this crap with Gen Z anyway? Stick around, we're finally going to talk to one. What's up, everybody? It's Graham. Welcome back to the channel, back with another video, and I am proud and happy to have my son Roth with me over at Roth G Films. Check out his channel. I'll flash it across the screen. This is a video that we've been wanting to do for a while, and we're in the Rad Cave. I feel like I haven't filmed a video in here for the longest time, and I do have to say that there was this comment before, see this microphone, when you call it a lapel mic or a Lapierre mic or something. Some dude was just like, why are you holding the mic when it clips? Because I want to, okay? Because I like it. Right, Ron?
Yeah,
what do you
aesthetic.
think? Yeah. Anyway, so we've been wanting to do this this video for the longest time, to being a Gen X, right? I'm 50, and Roth is a Gen Z, and he's 15. But I started to notice some things that were significantly different than the stuff that we see out there on the internet with Gen Z. Now so supposedly they say Gen Z is 1997 to 2012. Some people dispute that and say 99 or 98, but we're just gonna go with 1997 to 2012. He was born in 2009, so he is the younger Gen Z. But a lot of the stuff that we're hearing about in these articles about Gen Z quitting and doing all this type of stuff are the older Gen Zs, like my daughter's age. Now, my daughter doesn't fit the mold at all for these things that you hear out there. She's a hard worker. She's a great saver. Of course, she doesn't like to work. Nobody likes to work, but she does it, and she lives a great life. But a lot of these videos that we see where people are roasting Gen Z seem to be that 19 to 24-year-old kind of age group. Maybe can there be a Gen Z that's 24? I don't know. You know what I mean. So, but what I noticed with him, because we love to hang out, his friends, when I hear him talk to his friends and hang out with his friends, remind me a lot of when I was 15. Us Gen Xers, kind of the things that we said, things that we did, stuff that we can't say online anymore because we'll be canceled. But so I figured we'd sit down, do a little video together, and get a perspective of this. But we first want to watch this little video of kind of what made me think about this. And I have to thank my buddy Brandon at Gen X POV, because until, of course, Roth had seen this video, but until Brandon's last video, I had never seen the video, and he played a clip of it. And so we're going to watch a little bit of it here and just set it up. So
at Starbucks, and I am literally about to quit. Like, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but like, I really want to. I almost walked out today, and I'm crying in the back room right now, and I almost cried on the floor. It's just, I'm like a full-time student. I get scheduled for 25 hours a week, and then on weekends they schedule me the entire day, open to close. I'm on the schedule for 8.5 hours, both Saturday and Sunday. I'm like 3.5 hours into my shift. There's so many customers, and we have 4 people on the floor all day. Only 5 people were put on the schedule, and somebody had to call out. And there are 4 people running the whole store, and there's so many customers, and there's possibly scheduled 5 people. We only have 13 people employed at this store, and there's so many customers, and they're good. We don't have fair scheduling. Managers don't care about us. Our manager was supposed to come in this weekend, and he took himself off the schedule, so he wouldn't be able to be held accountable for calling out. He just literally tore down the schedule that he was scheduled on and put up a new schedule where he wasn't on the schedule. Also, he couldn't have even seen that he was scheduled in the first place because he didn't want to be held accountable for not wanting to come in. They don't want to help us. We need a union because this can't happen. This can't happen. We need fair scheduling. We need managers to hold themselves accountable for helping their workers. They refuse to turn mobile orders off. We need the liberty to be able to do that because there's so many mobile orders and I need to get through all of them. And then people are yelling at me because I don't have their orders ready and they don't know what to do. And a customer was misgendering me today, like really badly. I didn't have their order ready. And so they were just like talking to each other and they're like, she's clearly incompetent. I have a full mustache and beard. What the fuck?
They call him a girl. Well. So anyway, you'd already seen that before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
It's ridiculous, bro. Like crying, you're making coffee. I mean, you chose to work there, so.
Yeah. So that's kind of what the video is. Now is my son's group of friends like every 15-year-old Gen Z out there? I don't know. All I can do is speak for, my personal experience to say that there seems to be some hope. Now, I know that there'll be the older Gen Zs and, of course, some of the millennials, the younger millennials, maybe not the older millennials, because I'll say the Xennials, the ones that were born closer to 80 to 85. So, there was a lot of things that we did growing up that we look back and reflect some of the things we said and did that we know aren't right, and we've changed those things. But then there's a lot of stuff now with cancel culture out there that people are afraid to be themselves and in fear of, being canceled or called xenophobic or racist or, whatever ists that are out there. So I wanted to kind of get a perspective from him because he's 15 and a lot of his friends act the same. They do the same thing. And so we kind of rehearsed this on the way home after picking him up from school. I wouldn't say rehearsed, but just kind of chatted about it. This is nothing scripted. So we're going to kind of go off the cuff and try to do as minor of editing or a little of editing as possible on this, just so you guys can get a feel of how it is out there. So you're a sophomore in high school.
Sir.
And do you and your friends want to get a learner's permit and get a driver's license as soon as possible?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just the freedom of being to go, or like being able to go wherever you want, whenever you want. You could ride with your friends, just it's that sort of like you're almost going into adulthood. And I think like if you're like going on 17, 18 and you don't have your learner's permit, you're just being lazy.
Okay, so how many of your friends right now have their permit or their license already?
Pretty much all of them but one.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Well, we're working on it. He's getting his, Aceable thing going.
Aceable.
He's got the car. If you've seen the channel for a while, you see the Acura Integra, the 99 that we did for him. And he's currently got it in shop because he's in auto shop. He's got to replace the radiator, and he'll be doing that probably next week, I hope.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
So what about when it comes to when you see these things about this guy crying about his job, do your friends that have a car and are already able to legally drive, do they have jobs right now?
Mm-hmm.
What do they do?
I know one of them works at Burger King.
Okay.
One of them works at McDonald's and Marcus.
Which newsflash, people, that's who should be working at a Burger King and a McDonald's.
Yeah, not like 35-year-olds.
High school people, right? I mean, they're not meant to be, a 45-year-old person that's working at McDonald's talking about how, I mean, that might be the, case, and that's the only job you have. But I worked at McDonald's when I was 16. I worked at Little Caesars when I was 16. And then I worked at a car wash, which ended up being the one that I stayed at the longest. So do you want to work? Do your friends want to work?
Yeah.
Why?
You get paid. We're gonna, go shopping a little bit, save it for when we want to move out. Probably gonna stay, make that bread, and then move after like 2 years. But everyone wants money. Like, who doesn't want money? And especially when your parents, you go to a store and you're like, hey, Mom, I want that. And they're like, I don't like it. Buy it with your money. Comes in clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the things that your friends are looking to do outside of school? Are they looking to do the military? Are they looking to go to college? Are they looking for the trades?
Mm-hmm. Most of my friends are going to trade school. I know one that isn't, and he's going to culinary school.
That's kind of a trade.
Yeah,
I
kind
guess.
of a trade. Cooking. But most of us, welders, construction. My friend, let's say his name's Billy. He wants to be an electrician. And I know some that want to be plumbers, mainly mechanics. I want to be a mechanic. But yeah, you go to college, get the basic fundamentals and, hopefully be successful in life.
What about the military?
No.
No? Why not?
I know I wouldn't want to take a bullet for my country anymore, and I don't think any of them would. I think.
Does that mean y'all are not patriotic?
No, we're not.
You're not patriotic?
Nope.
Or you're not less patriotic because you're not willing to take a bullet?
I'm not patriotic, really. I mean, I'm happy for the rules. Like, you can believe whatever you want to believe here. But that's really the only thing that's left. It's not like the 1950s and the golden age. America's kind of like...
Your friends think that too?
Yeah. I only know one of them that his dad was in the Air Force, and he's going so he could reap the benefits. 20 years, you get a bunch of stuff afterwards.
And you have a couple friends that are brothers that are from Turkey over here now, and what are they going to do when they graduate high school?
Leave America.
Where are they going to go?
Turkey.
Why?
It's cheaper there. It's better. The fundamentals of their country is more prideful. And like the currency exchange is pretty good over there, and it's safer with the laws over there, believe it or not.
Yeah. So hold on. Somebody was texting you in the middle of let me take my sound off. And so what else we were talking about yesterday? What are some other things that Gen Z is getting roasted for online right now? Like maybe not your group, but that's the other thing. So what how it's a heated battle right now in politics. Mm-hmm. How are Gen Z kids your age? Obviously, you're not old enough to vote.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I say, why does it matter?
Well,
But how are y'all dealing with the politics in school right now and the election coming up?
I mean, everyone has their own belief and they have their right to believe that, but we don't get into it just because all that politics brings to the table, and I mean this for every age, division and corruption and just a lot of heated moments. And as like a friend group, you don't want to be butting heads. We're just happy to be alive and all be friends.
It's kind of like in the 80s, it probably went back, obviously, but back then, the three fundamental things that you never talked about that, I remember when we'd have dinner parties, or we'd go over for Christmas or something like that somewhere, they say, okay, whatever you kids, you do not talk about money. You do not, or was it, no, it wasn't money. You don't talk about politics. You don't talk about religion. And you don't talk about money. And it seems since the advent of the internet and social media, that's all anybody talks about is how much money they make, their sexuality, their religion or lack of religion, and good Lord, politics.
Yeah.
So we've already established that at least your group of friends now, sister, obviously growing up in Texas, you grow up around a lot of Latinos. But your friends consist of some white people, some Latinos, some Asians, you said, and some black kids. So it's kind of a melting pot over here. How do y'all act when you get together? Now, he watches a lot of 80s movies with me. We both love Eddie Murphy, like the original Eddie Murphy, back when he was allowed to be Eddie Murphy. And I hear some of the way that they talk to one another. Again, we can't say those things on camera anymore. So what about calling each other names?
That's like the fundamental of being a guy.
Yeah.
Like, it's hilarious. Every, race has their term that they go by, or derogatory term, and we all say it to each other. So that's just like...
So what about those people that'll leave a comment like, that's horrible, and you don't parent, you're not a good parent because you allow your kid to say these things? I don't allow my kid to say anything. He is his own individual. However, I just feel that, they've got to have the experience one way or another. Look, one of his friends, we won't say it on camera, it was a female, by the way, said something that I said was really bad to a group of people. I said, it's not right that she said that. However, it's her right to say that. Mm-hmm. That's what people don't seem to understand anymore.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, with his generation, it just seems like with his age, it reminds me of being 15. It reminds me of the late 80s, the way that we interacted with our friends, the things that we said, the shit that we did, the jokes that we laughed at. It seems a lot like them. They're not sensitive. They've actually got thick skin. They don't seem to give a crap about what people think of them.
No.
His fingernails are painted black, right? You're like, oh yeah. Well, you know what? People painted their fingernails back in the 70s and 80s in the punk rock, but I wouldn't do it. And I never did do it. But whatever. Yeah. So anything else, man? I'm trying to think. What else would we talk about? I just,
Gay people.
What?
LGBT community.
Okay.
I don't know if I could say the other word.
Well, you just said the letters. So, do you see that pushed a lot in your school?
No.
No?
Nah. It's more of like everyone has to, I feel like as a teacher, you're almost like, you have to have that safe space, because if you're a tough cookie, then like the school board won't hire you. So it's just like a bonus.
That was the other thing about education. That's a good one. So being in Texas, they pride themselves on the educational system here in Texas. So let's talk about that. So growing up, as you guys would know, in the 70s and 80s and even the 90s, when we took a test and we failed the test, that was it. There was no making up the test. There was no redoing of the test. There were at times, what's that word, extra credit that we had to do. We had to study. We had to memorize things, and it's not their fault. ChatGPT is not their fault. Being able to research a book and have something write it in 3 seconds is not their fault. All of that stuff is not their fault, and they've just learned to use it to their advantage. But at least the rules in Texas are absolutely ridiculous. They build these Taj Mahal schools. I'm saying these high schools and these schools that they're in
Massive.
are opulent, man, and they are so much nicer than even the college that I had went to. And but yet the kids seem to be dumber all the time.
Yeah.
So can students fail a grade in Texas?
Nope.
Like, is that a fact, or
I don't think they want to say it's a fact, but it's a fact.
how is that?
If you get a 0 on a assignment, eventually they'll mark it as a 50 to boost your grade, because a 50 is better than a 0. If you fail the STAR test, they give you another chance, and if you fail that one, you go to summer school, make up hours, and if you don't do that, then they just throw you a test that you have to take again.
And what about makeup work or just daily work? It's all done on Google. What is that? Google, the little tablet thing. What is that? Google
Chrome?
Docs?
No, we use Schoology. We used to use Google Classroom, but it's Schoology. So we don't have any paperwork. The only paperwork we have is algebra, because you're having to write it out.
Do y'all even have textbooks?
What do you mean?
Textbooks. Do you have textbooks?
Only for history.
Only for history.
And we use it for vocabulary. We go to the index.
Yeah. And shout out to his history teacher, Mario, his family. And super cool dude. And my mentor in school was my history teacher. Absolutely loved ancient history, and it just worked out. We didn't know. He's a cousin through his mom's side, and ended up being Ross' history teacher. So what's up, Mario? How you doing, man? Call me. You're supposed to call me, man. You haven't called me. So calling you out on the internet, bro. So
Crazy.
yeah. So anyway, so what do you have to say? Do you think y'all are going to be the generation that's going to help
Restore humanity.
restore humanity in America? Is it possible?
Yeah, I think it's totally possible. I feel like 2009 and 2000, I wouldn't even say 2010. 2009 was like the last cut of being great, because we have y'all as parents, which were born in like the 70s, right? So y'all experienced
60s,
80s.
65 all the way to 1980.
Yeah, so that's like the last good parenting, I feel. And then they parented us the way they were, brought up. So if we teach our kids like that, of course it's a choice, but I think most of us will become parents and, relive the moments that we had and influence it on our kids.
Now, the question that everybody's wondering throughout the world is, do you know how to fold a letter?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Because all the shit we took over your sister and the whole letter thing.
I mean, but to be fair, who writes a letter anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not our fault. Like, it's y'all's fault, because we do emails.
So it's my fault?
No.
Yeah. Well, I taught her that day when she didn't know, right? I sent her the YouTube link. So technically I still taught her.
Well, it's not our fault. It's the people that made emails, and technology. So blame yourselves, guys.
So what do you guys think? Drop some comments below. Again, you don't have to agree. But this is my bubble, right? As I mentioned last week, I went to Cancun for the week, and I tell you what, you seem to think that people all around the world just worship and know America, man, Americans. I mean, this dude that was my server is from Mexico. Literally did not even know where San Antonio was. He's like, "Oh, San Antonio, you live in San Antonio?" Oh, yeah, I don't know it. I'm like, "Sure, come on, dude. San Antonio is called Little Mexico. For real, it is." He didn't know.
Crazy.
And so people, and it's like I think it was Floyd Mayweather Jr. said years ago, like, his little world, man, he doesn't get involved in all that other shit that's going on out there because he's got to wake up every day, take care of his family, take care of his wife, his kids, and manage his life. And going down there, you see that, you know, while the hurricane was going on in North Carolina, I didn't know about it for a few days. Nobody down there knew about it. Why would they? Because they're focused on getting their paper that day, going home, getting groceries, cooking for their family. So I think we get a little wrapped up in thinking what everybody else thinks about us instead of just, you know, fixing our own house first before we go out and we try to fix somebody else's house. And that's what I'm trying to do, at least with my son, is raise him the way that he is raised. He's very, trust me, this guy, he knows 70s songs, he knows 80s songs, he knows the 80s movies. What's your favorite rap group from the 80s?
NWA.
NWA?
Yeah.
Well, that'd be the late 80s. So late 80s, early 90s. Well, who were we listening to earlier today in the car?
Public Enemy.
Yeah. So we have this plethora of 80s movies that we end up watching all the time. Although one of our favorite movies to watch, it's not an 80s movie, but it goes back into the 80s, and we watch it probably once a month. And what
I'd say
movie would that
twice.
be? Twice a month?
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. So he knows that. He loves the music. And that's great, mainly because we spend a lot of time together, and that's what I listen to. So he absorbs it. But the key is to not think that the generation is lost. Again, my daughter is an older Gen Z, but she's an absolutely amazing person, hard worker. This kid that's crying on camera working at Starbucks, man, I feel sorry for you, dude. I really do. I mean, is it a guy? I mean, it's not a girl that's growing a beard, or it's a dude. Is that why he was so upset that he? I don't know.
We can't even say that now. Like, why are we talking about it? It's like misgender.
Should
We're
I?
gonna get canceled.
Should I edit that out?
Yeah, edit that out.
No, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not. So anyway, drop a comment below. Is there hope for the future if the future is like this one here? And if you've stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Go check him out at Rachi Films. He's got his own YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description. Be flashing his name across the screen right now. If you stuck around this long, consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, hitting that bell notification so you can be notified of my future videos. And with that said, we'll see you on the next video, and thank you for watching.